I broke through the carbonate, that's how I got free. Drop it back off because there's no stopping me. Postmodern player, sample-tastic, flows ekphrastic. I get drastic, hey, watch the plastic. Yo, I name check and leave you drastic.
Hi, I'm Brandi from MacGuffinPodcast.com, and I am here with Miranda July, who is in Seattle with her new film, The Future, playing at Seattle International Film Festival. And this is the second time you've made the rounds at a film festival with a feature-length film. First time 6 years ago with me and you and everyone we know. Is it a lot different the second time around, now that you're sort of known? Or
Oh, right. Well, I think of it more like now I know sort of what to expect, and each thing doesn't seem like overwhelming and like I need to process it forever. I'm kind of like, I know exactly what this is, and it's sort of comforting. I mean, the festivals are great. Seattle's a really good one. Yeah, so I kind of just float along like a little baby doing what people tell me to do, which is a relief after having just finished being a director and
being in charge of everything.
Yeah.
How many festivals have you been to so far?
I haven't counted, but we started at Sundance and then went to Berlin and then sort of all the U.S. festivals between now and then. So, yeah.
Right. So I saw the film a couple of days ago. I thought it was great. And I want to ask you about the central relationship in the film, which is between your character, Sophie, and Hamish Linklater's character, Jason. How did you pick him for the role? Because that must have been, the big decision.
Totally, it was. And it seems really fun for about 4 seconds to get to cast your boyfriend. And then it's just really hard. I actually met Hamish really early on. He was sort of the top pick of my very good casting director, Jeannie McCarthy, and he was really perfect. But because he was one of the first people, I was like, well, he's so good, probably I'm going to meet 100 other amazing people. And I pretty much flew around the world. Like me, I also felt like he could not be American, maybe, and so I met amazing actors in all different countries, and ultimately was like, yep. That was the guy. Like, I could have saved myself a lot of trouble, but I think with your second movie, you do a lot of second guessing because you have more opportunities. I mean, the fact that there were that many actors who were interested, and you just, the stakes feel very high. So, yeah, and David Warshawski, who plays the other man in the movie, similarly I met him early on, and he was exactly the guy. Yeah.
Great. When at the screening I was at, you talked about how you cast the old man character that Jason makes friends with, which I thought was hilarious. That you apparently met him through the Penny Saver. Right.
So I met him the way that Jason does in the movie, which is answering an ad in the Penny Saver classifieds. I was doing a project where I was interviewing people selling things through the classifieds, which was a little bit I think a response to the recession in which I was not going to get my movie financed. So I had to do something else for a little while. And Joe was this amazing very old man who had made all these cards for his wife, hundreds of them over the years, that were really raunchy, like really sweet, lots of kittens and dogs. But if you actually read the text,
it was a surprising moment in the film.
There were a lot of words you didn't expect to see there. And he just, and then I also cast him as the voice of the moon. And it was it was like really the way that I knew I was done writing the movie. When he came into it, I sort of felt like this is what I'd been waiting for, this one last character, which I could only meet by living my life, I couldn't just think that up. Yeah.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I like about a lot of your work is the way that you do incorporate different generations of people into the stories, and it seems like a lot of your stuff has children characters as well as people your own age and elderly people. Is that something that's important to you, to incorporate those different perspectives?
Right. I mean, I guess with the first movie, I wanted unusual couplings, couples that were like people who you would never see together, which had a lot to do with age. But it's true, I think, in writing and in general and in any medium, it feels just like one way you can get out of your exact, there's often the me character, but then you get really tired of that and sort of curious about, it's like a bigger challenge to figure out like what is life looking like from this perspective and this perspective, like these different points in mortality also, because this movie's a lot about time. So it began to seem important to not just show a 35-year-old's perspective, even though that's the main one in the movie.
Right. And then how much of a challenge is it to cast children actors as well? Because I thought the little girl in the movie was really great, too.
She's great, Isabella Akers. It's so fun to cast the kids, actually. There's sort of a lot of, in LA, there's just a lot of kid actors, and, like, you worry that they're all, like, oppressed and being, like, forced into these auditions, but they're really, a lot of them really aren't. I mean, she wasn't. Her parents are really nice, but sort of could care less. And she's just like, she's got an IMDb list with like 50 things on it. She's like the most professional person on the set. And I'd look at her, like there's a scene in the movie where she comes in sort of crying, which is just real. She just literally came in crying. But I'm not kidding, 4 seconds before that, she was tap dancing on the deck. And then she comes in crying, and I was like, whoa, okay, so we can count on you.
So I would have needed
so
more preparation.
Myself, yeah.
Well, have you thought about making a movie where you weren't directing yourself in the role?
Right. Sure. I mean, I've made short movies that I wasn't in, so it doesn't seem that foreign to me. It's definitely easier, and yet it's easier but a little less fun, It's like I don't have those days where I'm like crazy with that feeling like I'm gonna perform, which is a pretty addictive feeling. I mean, that long predates these features. I was performing in my own live performances for a long time, but yeah, I think definitely over time, like I can't be in every single thing because it's hard. It's really hard.
Right. Well, I think it does add like such intimacy to the relationships and the characters, though, to know that you're the one that wrote the movie while watching it.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the other thing too. I feel like at this point, it's so new to people. I mean, many people will walk in not having any idea that it's me, and sort of discover. To me, that seems fun to like watch someone and then kind of put it together and come into someone's world and body of work that way. Like that's still a new thing for me. I mean, I'm not so far along in my career that I expect everyone to know that. Yeah.
Another thing that I find interesting particularly about the 2 full-length films that you've done so far, is the way that very dramatic moments use comedy as well. And I think it uses it in a creative way, where usually a humorous bit will sort of be to cut the tension in a film, but I feel like you're exploring that relationship a little bit deeper, maybe.
Right. Yeah. In fact, I think it's dangerous to build tension and then kind of destroy what you built with like, oh, we're just kidding. We don't really care about anything, And usually, like the humor is to like go further and deeper, and like allow fears to come up without having to be only dramatic, like in my own life, when I'm at my worst, it's really my saving grace if I can like joke about it, but like not like this is so stupid what I'm feeling, but like take it even further, right. The pain,
Yes. And I think we see that the most probably in the cat character, who arguably has the most at stake and the least power during the film.
Yeah.
But some of what There's a couple bits where we cut to the cat that are quite dramatic, and a couple more ones where there's just a little bit of humor in the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird combination. I mean, you already have, since the cat is just these paws, you never see more than that. That is automatically sort of funny. And then that it's talking, and then that it's gesturing occasionally. But in a way, because that's so funny, I also felt like, well, I can just have this cat be the most honest, serious character ultimately, because there's all, like, if you've already accepted this, you've already accepted that this is a character, hopefully you're kind of willing to go somewhere with that. Yeah.
And, like, technically, was it a challenge to do that character?
Yeah, well, I've been so thrilled that it's not totally obvious how it was done. That I'm now keeping it a secret, because with a low budget movie, that's like a major achievement. Like, you never expect to do any sort of special effects that seem like, that beg the question, how was it done? But yeah, and then I did the voice, which was not what I planned, but ultimately...
You wanted to have someone else do it?
Well, I did, yeah. And I brought in like a little boy, and then an old woman, and even some like professional animal voice people. But in the end, I think I had worked so long on these monologues and rewritten them so many times and performed them and recorded them in the temp track that I was like married to that. I couldn't hear any voice but my own, for better or worse. I mean, I kind of fought it up until the very end, and finally I was like, guess what? I'm going to do it. Like, sorry if I shouldn't take 2 roles, but I'm going to make it work, I promise. Yeah, and in the end, I feel like sometimes if you have that specific an idea, you just need to do it yourself. Yeah.
One more question. The screening that I was at, you also talked about how the film almost doesn't feel real until people see it, or like when people see your work, it adds a new dimension to it. It feels more finished. Yeah. And I know a lot of your stuff that you've done has been intrinsically collaborative. Do you ever do anything that's just for you?
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's funny. Everything I'm thinking of is just in that category is actually just for my husband. So like, shit, that doesn't even really count. Yeah, I think I do some things, but it is funny how you get a little mercenary with your time. Like, all this is for me. I mean, this movie is ultimately the thing that I wanted to watch, and also the way that I process my life. And but it is true, there used to be a lot more when I was younger, like, again, this isn't for me, but like elaborate gifts, I don't know if you did that when you were younger, just like throw all your creative energy into like some gift that the person maybe doesn't even want, and it's like the first version of art or performance or whatever, and the reaction is never enough. You're like, if you're still able to live and breathe upon receiving this, you failed at accepting my gift. Yeah. So I think in a way it was sort of a relief to find a big enough, territory for all that desire to like craft something and put it out there. Yeah. I think I failed that question.
No, that was great.
Sure, I do something
that was great.
cool.
And the film is great too. And you can see a lot more stuff about the Seattle Film Festival at MacGuffinPodcast.com. You can see a lot more about Miranda July at MirandaJuly.com.
Yes, and the movie comes out July 29th in theaters, and ish, depending on where you live. And there's also a website, thefuture.com, which we just put up this weekend, and you can get your future as described by me twice a week. You can sign up for that. So I think that's a pretty good thing. I'm really trying hard
really
on
fun.
this advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
I'm going to take some of that advice.
Yeah, good. That's pretty good.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, thank you.
T-1000 can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Magneto can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Even Zod can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. It's tight, don't even try to bite the side of style. Mr. Spock can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Wrath of Khan can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Borg can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Because I've got space game and it feels alright.